This is LSAT PrepTest 131, Section 4, Passage 4 about the Ultimatum game. It's a social science passage, fairly low difficulty passage, content's pretty easy. The trap is that it feels so straightforward that you might stop paying attention when you get to the real argument that's being presented here. Now, this is a puzzle and explanation passage. Something weird happens. There are two theories advanced to try to explain it, and the author picks one of those. The main point is that evolution shaped our emotions for small group life where everybody watched each other, and those emotions don't shut off just because we're in some anonymous lab experiment. Now, the most important paragraph here is paragraph 4. That is the author's entire argument. Everything else is just set up, starting off with paragraph 1, where you're learning the rules. One person proposes a split of $100. The other person takes it or leaves it. If they leave it, nobody gets paid. You move through this part pretty quickly, nothing controversial here. Just understand the game. Then paragraph 2 gives you the results, and that's where the passage gets a lot more interesting. Most proposers offer close to half, and almost nobody lowballs. And when somebody does offer less than 20%, the responder usually rejects it. Now, you got to stop and think about that for a minute, right? Because it's kind of funny. The responder is walking away with nothing on purpose. That is the puzzle here. Traditional economics would say that people behave out of self-interest. Any money you'd think is better than no money. So rejecting a low offer doesn't make rational sense. Don't rush here. You want to slow it down because you want to maintain the understanding here. Paragraph 3 gives you a clean, logical explanation for why. Our ancestors lived in small groups. You couldn't afford to crush the people on your own team because you needed them to fight other groups. And that might sound like it makes sense, and that's the problem. The author says this only explains why proposers offer a lot, doesn't touch the real puzzle, which is why responders would reject low offers. The author is saying this theory answers the wrong question completely. If you miss that, you're going to misunderstand the point here. You're going to misunderstand why there is a puzzle at all. And paragraph 4, the author gives you their own answer. The logic has a couple steps here you want to pay attention. First, our emotions evolved in small groups where nothing was private. Everybody knew your business. And if people knew that you would take a lousy deal, they would keep offering you lousy deals. But if they know that you're going to get angry and reject the offer, they're going to offer you more next time. And so evolution rewarded the angry responders. They got better offers, they ate more, they survived. Now here is the piece that actually answers the puzzle. Our brains never learned to tell the difference between a one-time anonymous game and real life. And so for that reason, you react to the ultimatum game the same way your ancestors reacted when somebody tried to short them on food around the campfire. Your emotions don't care that you're never going to see this person, and again, they fire anyway. And that mismatch between our ancient wiring and the modern lab experiment is the entire answer. Now, the key move here is right at the top of paragraph 4. The author writes more compelling. This is telling you the author is ranking these explanations, not just listing them out. Everything after that phrase, more compelling, is the author's endorsed position. If you missed that on your first read, you want to go back and reread that because it changes how you read what follows. Now, the big trap in this passage is walking into the questions thinking that both theories got a fair shake, that both were presented well. The first one got introduced and then got dismissed in the same paragraph. The second one got 3 times the space and the author's explicit endorsement. If you read too fast through paragraph 3 and you miss the dismissal, you're going to end up thinking the passage is a balanced survey of both of those ideas. That's going to cost you on main point questions, author's attitude questions, and anything asking about the relationship between the explanations. Now, paragraph 4 connects self-esteem to reputation to survival. The author here is saying that anger builds a reputation, and that reputation leads to better offers. And that means you are more likely to survive. If they ask you why self-esteem matters in this argument, the answer is about the survival advantage that comes from being known as somebody who's not going to take a bad deal. Now, before you go on to the questions, check yourself on these 3 things. First, can you explain in 1 sentence why the author rejects the first theory? Second, do you know what specific gap it fails to fill? And third, can you trace the chain in paragraph 4 from emotions to reputation to survival?